Howdy Hive Scum and welcome back. In this video, I'll be doing a full and complete guide to every hanger-on in Necromunda 2026. Strap in guys, because this will be a long one. If you'd prefer to listen to it on Spotify, please go and do so. Otherwise though, please do like, share, subscribe, and check out the Patreon as well if you'd like to support me further. Let's get into the hangers-on of Necromunda 2026. So, a little foreword. What is a hanger-on exactly in Necromunda 2026? Well, if you played Necromunda's previous edition, you'll know all about the plethora, I love saying that word, of hangers-on that we had available to our gangs in Necromunda. Now, in the old version of the game, you had outlaws and law-abiding gangs. Ignore all that. We don't have that anymore. We've still got a few restrictions. There are house hangers-on, there are non-house hangers-on, and I'll explain everything as we go. But the entire sort of premise has become a little bit more simple, as well as the core rules, to be honest, too. Everything is just a bit more simple in this edition. And if you're starting from scratch here, basically a hanger-on is a guy that you can, a guy or girl that you can buy for your gang that gives you certain boons and benefits. They are not an ordinary fighter from your gang and do not benefit from any of your gang's special rules. For example, a slopper hired by a Goliath gang does not get +1 strength on the charge, for example. You don't get nimble Escher medics and stuff like that either. You know, rogue docs, for example. They don't benefit from those things. They can skill up, but they do not get any new war gear or equipment from the trading post or anything either. And when they die, because they will, when you delete them from your roster, you don't get to keep onto any of their equipment or war gear either. Fairly straightforward, right? Also, by the way, you can exclude them from being randomly selected in your crew as well. You don't have to have them turning up in games if you don't want to, if you don't want to risk them. So that's worth bearing in mind too. Other than that though, things are pretty straightforward. Hangers-on, brutes, and champions are 3 of the fighter subtypes that must not make up over half of your gang as well. So as long as you don't go over half of your gang's total amount with hangers-on, brutes, and champions, bear that in mind when you're buying some hangers-on for your gangs. Now, I've already gone through some of the core hangers-on in a previous video, but that was more of a first impressions kind of thing, whereas this is much more of an in-depth guide on every single one of them. So naturally, I have to start at that place with the core hangers-on that you get in a nice new shiny plastic box from Games Workshop. It's worth mentioning that all of the other hangers-on are and should be available through Forge World in resin as well, and they're all fantastic miniatures. Anyway, your first core hanger-on that we're going to talk about here today is the Rogue Doc. Now this one's pretty straightforward really. He is the team doctor, the apothecary if you like, from Blood Bowl if you're familiar with that. Basically, this guy is 90 credits to hire, and he's part of your gang once you've got him. He's got a movement of 5, a weapon skill and ballistic skill of 5+, a strength of 2, and a toughness of 3, because he's a weedy little nerd. He's also got 1 wound, initiative 3+, and 1 attack, with 6+ on his save as well. So the stats, very underwhelming, but that's not what he's for. His mental stats are 6, 8, 6, and 7, and he comes with a starting XP of 13 as well. So what you really get for the 90 credits is the following post-cycle action, which is the Rogue Doc may perform either a medical escort or fit bionics post-cycle action. These actions cost 50 credits less. So by spending an initial outlay of 90 credits, you get to cut the cost of those actions. Not only do you get to cut the cost by 50 credits, which is huge by the way, you also get to use someone else to do that medical escort, which is very important. It means that your leaders and champions are freed up so they don't have to do that, and this guy does it instead. Now the Rogue Doc of course comes with the medicate skill as well, so if he is on the battlefield, medicate is very, very valuable I think in any gang pretty much. He comes equipped with a stub gun, a medicate kit, and a medi skull as well, and you can swap out the stub gun for a las pistol for +5 credits if you really want some extra reliability. There are 3 or 4 different types of models, and they're all fantastic. There's a Delaque specific one which is sick. There's a female sort of Escher type which is great as well, and there's the new plastic one which has the sort of plague mask on. All of them are great, but the Rogue Doc has serious value. At 90 credits is quite a big outlay in a beginner gang, but once you get the credits to be able to afford one early on in a campaign, they're more than worth it, as you're saving 50 credits by doing those medical escorts, and you're also allowing more of your gang to do other things post-cycle. It's also worth mentioning, of course, with any of these hangers-on that you can have multiples of them as well, and the boons tend to stack too, so having 2 rogue docs is fairly handy because all of a sudden you've got 2 being able to perform those post-cycle actions. The next generic hanger-on that's available for absolutely everybody is of course the ammo jack, and there are a few models for this as well. We've got a special one in Ragnar Gunstein, I believe his name is, but he's got different profiles, so we're going to look into that in another video. And there's the previous Forge World one, which is pretty nice too, and of course now the female plastic one as well with the power hammer. Really nice. The ammo jack comes in at 100 credits, which is quite a lot again as an initial outlay in a starting gang, but probably something that you're going to want to save up for. The ammo jack is absolutely no slouch as a fighter though, unlike the rogue doc, is a big burly shooter of a fighter really, with movement 5, weapon skill 4+, and ballistic skill 3+, so equal to a champion really. Strength and toughness 3, only 1 wound, 2 on initiative, which is very low, and 1 attack with a 5+ save. We've also got 6 and then 777 on the mental stats there as well, and like any other hanger-on, comes with a starting XP of 13 too. Now the reason why you would get an ammo jack is for the post-cycle action here too, which is called overcharge. Select one ranged weapon equipped by a fighter in the same gang as this fighter without the unstable trait, and until the end of the next cycle, increase the strength by 1 and gain the unstable trait. So for example, you could use it on a las gun. The las gun is suddenly strength 4, but it has unstable. Is it worth it? In some cases it might be, but it's not amazing really overall. I think strength is definitely a good thing in terms of wounding stuff, but the way that damage works in this game, the AP is often more important. Now the ammo jack does come with the munitioneer skill, which is brilliant, especially standing next to like a heavy weapon or something with rapid fire, like a heavy bolter perhaps. And for 100 credits, you get quite a good fighter as well. So it's worth thinking about ignoring the sort of post-cycle action for a minute. This fighter's no slouch with ballistic skill 3+. They also come, by the way, with a combat shotgun with salvo and shredder, and a power sword, and they may select from the below options when added to a gang roster. You can replace your shotgun for a bolt gun for 15 credits, and you can replace the power sword with a power hammer for free. So bolt gun, power hammer, anyone for 100 credits, it's pretty damn good really. So overall, the ammo jack for 100 credits, you get an okay sort of post-cycle action, but you get a fighter that's pretty competent with ballistic skill 3+, you know, 5 movement, and of course a bolt gun or a combat shotgun there as well. It's pretty decent for 100 credits, but I can't see myself buying one straight away. I do, however, think the munitioneer skill is very valuable as well, and again, especially standing next to someone with, say, a heavy bolter or something that's prone to go out of ammo. The next hanger-on, and probably my favourite of the core hangers-on here, is the Dome Runner. The Dome Runner is 50 credits and has pretty average prospect stats. So really, he's only movement 5, weapon skill, ballistic skill 5+, strength toughness 3, wounds 1, initiative 4, and attacks 1 as well. We've got a 6+ save here too. 6 and then 777 on the mental stats with 13 XP. Now the special rule for the Dome Runner is Scout Ahead, and this is fantastic teamed up with infiltrating fighters as well, but basically after deployment, before the first roll for priority, if the Dome Runner is on the battlefield, D3 friendly fighters may move a distance equal to their initiative stat. So if you're playing Nomads or Escher, where you've got particularly high initiative, suddenly you get a free move action basically, and it's pretty damn good. Yeah, I mean, I can't say fairer than that. This guy's only 50 credits, and for that ability, I think it can be very, very good. Say on a Nachtgul who's already infiltrated onto the board, suddenly he's moving into the position for a kill. Now, the Dome Runner has the Clamber and Catfall skills as well. You know, Catfall not quite so good, but Clamber very, very good in this edition of the game, just to be able to traverse the battlefield and move around and outposition people. Now, even though the Dome Runner does have pretty subpar stats and he's not a particularly amazing fighter, he does come with a stub gun and a fighting knife, and you can switch out the stub gun for a las pistol, which is strange because the Rogue Doc, it costs 5 credits for some reason. You can also switch out your stub gun for a long las as well for plus 35 credits, and your knife for an axe for plus 15 credits there as well. So pretty good. Personally, I love the model with the long las as well, and I just think it's a flipping awesome model in any gang really. You could model this guy as like a rat skin scout or something too and go down that sort of angle, but honestly, so far, I think the Dome Runner is pretty much an auto include in an Escher or Nomad gang for me really. It's pretty good in any gang though, honestly, and for only 50 credits, yeah, it's a good one. Next one is the Slopper. Now this one gets really interesting. We've got some really good models for these ones. The new one, not quite as fat as the Forge World one, which I absolutely love. Chopping a tentacle sashimi. This one's carrying a big, you know, bowl of soup on his back, and he's got a big bowl of broth under the arm there as well. The actual Slopper costs 45 credits, and he's movement 4, weapon skill, ballistic skill 4+, strength, toughness 3, wounds 1, initiative 4, and attacks 1, 6+ save, and a 6 777 on the mental stats as well. Again, 13 XP there, so very, very average indeed. However, the special ability that the Slopper gets has definitely been improved in this edition, and it is as follows. Offering food is a very powerful method for recruiting new fighters. Sloppers may add 20 credits to their gang stash as a post-cycle action. 20 credits is nothing to sniff at. It's just nice being able to get an extra 20 credits, but the real value comes in right here. If a Slopper is on the battlefield, once per battle, you can force your opponent to re-roll the dice when rolling on the lasting injuries table. This can be the difference between a dead fighter and a living fighter. If your leader gets a 66 memorable death, you can force them to re-roll those dice, and hopefully, the dice gods are with you and you get an out cold or something in favor of that. So very, very valuable for 45 credits. I think it almost has more value than the Rogue Doc, really, because you know, a free reroll is on something as bad as that can be really, really good. I also think just having the extra 20 credits is great too. And again, you're going to need this fighter to be on the battlefield to actually do the reroll on the lasting injury, but it's food for thought. Pun intended there. 45 credits, it's decent. He comes with no skills, by the way, but he is equipped with a fighting knife as well, and that is it. I like the Slopper. He's a good one. Lastly, for the generic hangers-on, we have the Hive Watcher. Now, this guy's got a particularly kooky model, actually, and I really like it. He's a sort of floating servitor with tentacle legs and a big telescope in his hand. He's got a movement of 4, weapon skill and ballistic skill of 5+, so similar to the Dome Runner here, really. Strength and toughness 3, wounds 1, initiative 4, attacks 1, and save 6+, so in fact exactly the same as the Dome Runner. The same on the mental stats as well, except he's 1 better on intelligence with an 8. He's also got 13 XP starting. Now the Hive Watcher starts at 30 credits, by the way, and his special rules are as follows. So while a Hive Watcher is on the battlefield, enemy fighters using the infiltrate skill or arriving on the battlefield via reinforcements must set up 3 inches further away from where they would normally. So it's basically the opposite of the Dome Runner in a lot of ways, and it's like a 3-inch sort of bubble denial on infiltrators and stuff. So this is quite good value if you're playing in a campaign against, say, nomads who have lots of hunters, Delaque who have infiltrating fighters with cunning, Gene Stealer cult, helots, anything that gets access to infiltrate basically. But also, you know, in terms of reinforcements, this can be quite nice as well, because you don't get that short, sharp shock when they are just in your face straight away as soon as they come on. It comes with Clamber and Lie Low, and I've already said I really do think Clamber is quite a good skill in this version of the game. He's also equipped with a las pistol as well, and that is it. Honestly though, for 30 credits, the same cost as a lot of prospects cost, the same cost as, say, a Hive Scum. He's worth it, I'd say, in most instances, but again, it really does depend on the makeup of your campaign and whether you've got lots of infiltrators in there. I think you're more inclined to take him if you're playing against, you know, those gangs that I mentioned, your Delaque and your Gene Stealer cult and things like that. All right, so those are the generic hangers-on for Necromunda, and those are available in both of the Gangs of books. So whether you have Gangs of the Underhive or Gangs of the Outlands, you'll get those in the back of the book. And again, you can buy these in plastic from Games Workshop, and they're fantastic miniatures. All of them are very useful, but I'd say my pick out of all of them really is the Slopper and the Dome Runner. I just particularly like those two myself. Let's move on to the PDF document that is available on the Warhammer community website. By the way, if you go into downloads for Necromunda, you'll find that there is a Necromunda's Most Wanted PDF, which includes all of the Forge World miniatures rules. So if you want hangers-on, they're all in here. If you want Dramatis Personae, they're all in here. There's also a trading post addenda in here too, with las cannons, things like that too, if you really want to bring las cannons back into Necromunda. Personally, I say don't. But otherwise, let's move on to the Clan House hangers-on. These are hangers-on that are, of course, affiliated to a particular clan house. The first one is the Shiver, by the way, and the Shiver is 50 credits and an Escher-only hanger-on. The Shiva is movement 5, weapon skill, ballistic skill 5, strength 2 because she's weedy, toughness 3, wounds 1, initiative 3, attacks 1, and 6 plus save. And they have a mental stats of 6, 5, 8, 7. So pretty varied on that one. 50 credits is the cost for an Escher Shiva. Now, Shiva gets the following post-cycle action, and it's called Auguries. When the post-cycle action is performed, select a leader or champion who is not in recovery and make a willpower check for the Shiva. If the check is passed, the chosen fighter gains 2 XP. If the check is failed, the selected fighter is so shaken by the experiences that they lose 1 XP. If this would cause them to drop a rank, they do not lose the advancements they gained, nor they gain a new advancement when they earn enough XP to recover the lost rank. So technically, you could give your leader or champion 2 XP on top of them training for an extra 2 XP. So you get 4 all of a sudden, which is pretty nice. But it is, you know, it's nice, but it's not an essential thing. For 50 credits, it's not amazing. However, the Shiva does have a willpower of 8, which is pretty high, and they are also a Psyker as well. They come with Weapon Jinx and Terrify, 2 of my favourite weird powers, and for 50 credits, getting a weird in your gang with a willpower of 8 with both of those powers, Weapon Jinx and Terrify, absolutely worth it. Why not? Especially on an Escher gang where you don't normally get access to too many weird powers and things. This is brilliant. The Shiva also comes with the Fearsome skill as well, so they're a little bit creepy and scary if you want to fight them, but also they don't have any equipment. No pistol, no knife, nothing like that at all. Pretty cool though, right? It's also worth mentioning that even though these are affiliated to the clan houses, the clan house hangers-on do not benefit from the gang's special rule. So this Shiva will not get the Nimble special rule, for example. The Brute Handler is up next, a particularly fun looking model here. 75 credits this guy, movement 4, weapon skill 4+, and ballistic skill 5+. He's strength 3, but he's toughness 4, so he's kind of a Goliath really. Wounds 1, initiative 3, 1 attack, and 6 plus save. 7, 7, 6, 6 on the mental stats, and 13 XP again. I might not mention XP because they're all 13 XP starting. While active, a Brute Handler may perform the Goad action. This is a single action, by the way. Target a friendly active brute within 3 inches of this fighter and make a willpower check for the selected brute. Note, most willpower on brutes is not particularly great. If the check is passed, then the brute may immediately move a distance equal to their initiative characteristic in inches. If the check is failed, then the brute suffers a strength 3, AP 1, lethal 1 hit as the Brute Handler attacks them. I like this. It's very, very fluffy. You basically run in and whip the brute, and they get a free move action using their initiative, which is pretty great if you want to get an extra long charge off, perhaps. All of a sudden, you've got a Chimerix or whatever moving a whopping distance. Of course, though, if you fail that willpower check, then you are whipping your brute, and they're suffering a little bit of a scar from it. Now, these are actually available for any gang for 75 credits, but if you are a Goliath gang, you get them for 60 credits, so you get a 15 credit reduction on the price. Brute Handler comes with the Iron Jaw skill, and they come with a Shock Whip as well, and that's it. So for 75 credits, it's quite a lot for a very average fighter. Yes, he's got a Shock Whip, but other than that, I mean, it is one of those fluffy, fun ones that I think you're going to use if you've got a lot of brutes. Like I'd be tempted to get this in a Chaos Spawn list, maybe, with 3 or 4 Chaos Spawn in a Helot list. I'd be just whipping them with Brute Handlers and seeing where they go. That would be quite fun. And I mean, honestly, this is one of those hangers-on that is, you know, just okay, but kind of fun and fluffy, and I just like the idea of this guy running around whipping stuff. The Chem Dealer is next, and this one is 75 credits as well. We have a very average stat profile of movement 5, weapon skill, ballistic skill 4. We've got strength, toughness 3, wounds 1, initiative 3, attacks 1, and 6 plus save on that one too. 7, 7, 6, 7 on the mental stats as well. Now, the reason why you would get one of these guys is that they have a steady supply of chems. So when a gang with a chem dealer performs the medical escort post-cycle action, they may reduce the cost of the I'll use the good stuff rule by 30 credits, which is pretty damn good, to a minimum of 0, by the way, once for each chem dealer that is not in recovery. That is pretty good, honestly. 30 credits off that means that you can pretty much save a fighter who hasn't rolled a 66 on the lasting injury table. It's really, really good. They're also an ally of House Goliath as well, so they're also 60 credits as opposed to 75 for any other gang. They come with the connected skill, which is nice to have as well, by the way, in a campaign. And they're equipped with a stub gun too. The model is really interesting. It looks like one of the guild members from David Lynch's Dune, to be quite honest. I quite like the vibes of that one. A shiny black sort of like yucky plastic suit would be pretty cool here. But overall, the chem dealer, again, it's a non-essential one, but it's quite nice to have. I'd still rather have the slopper or maybe even the rogue doc over this because it is 75 credits, but yeah, let me know what you think about this one. The Whisper Merchant is next. Fantastic model. I've got this waiting to be finished at the moment on my painting desk. It's 60 credits and it has the following profile. So movement 5, weapon skill 5+, ballistic skill 4+, strength 3, toughness 3, 1 wound, 3 initiative, 1 attack and 6+ on the save. It's got a leadership of 5, which is terrible, cool of 7, willpower 6 and intelligence 8. It's an ally of House Delaque, so if you want to buy it for a Delaque gang, even though it's available to everyone, it's 45 credits for Delaque and 60 for everyone else. Useful Lies is the post-cycle action here. In fact, it's post-battle, by the way. Pre- and post-battle, I might add. A gang with a Whisper Merchant may count the result of a single D6 roll as a 6 in the following circumstances. Determining the starting crew, rolling on the escape table and receive rewards. This ability can be used only once in each sequence, and each time it's used, make a note on the gang roster. Once this ability has been used 6 times, the Whisper Merchant calls in their debt, and the gang must pay their credit cost again, or remove the Whisper Merchant from their gang roster. So you're paying 60 credits for most gangs, 45 if you're Delaque, and what you can do is turn the dice of your crew, your starting crew, to a 6. You'll receive rewards to a 6, which is very, very valuable because suddenly you've just paid for your Whisper Merchant after game 1. Or, you know, the escaping roll as well. You can turn that to a 6 to avoid you rolling a 1 and getting killed when you try and escape. It's pretty damn good, to be fair, and for 60 credits, 45 for Delaque. It's almost an auto take for Delaque, I think, because it pays for itself pretty quickly. The Whisper Merchant doesn't actually need to factor in the game either, by the way, so you can just leave him out so that he's safe. He comes with the Lilo skill, though, if he is on the board, and also comes with a stub gun as well. So overall, I think the Whisper Merchant is a particularly good one, and like I said, it's probably an auto take for Delaque, really, because it's only 45 credits. You know, you could buy a ganger for that, of course, but honestly, this guy's going to pay for itself, I think. Talking of Delaque, we've got the Spiker next, and this is a fantastic model, I have to say. I've got my own version of it that I kit bash, but this one is nice. This is the guy with the Mega Mind, big floating massive brain. He's 80 credits, and this guy is a Delaque Psyker, also known as a Spiker. Movement 6, weapon skill, ballistic skill 5+, strength 3, toughness 3, wounds 1, initiative 4, and 1 attack with a 6+ save. 6, 7, 7, 6 on the mental stats here as well. And these guys are flying, and they're also a weird as well. Now, you can only get these guys for Delaque gangs. No thinking about getting these for, like, I don't know, a Goliath gang or a Nomad gang or anything. It is just Delaque, of course, and the Spiker comes with no skills built in. However, the Psyker does come with some weird powers, and these are known as Force Blast, Terrify, and Weapon Jinx. So you get all 3 of those, Force Blast, Terrify, and Weapon Jinx. Pretty similar to the Shiver, really, in a lot of ways, but weirdly, the Spiker, which is specifically a Psyker, has a lower willpower. Only a willpower of 7 in this case, which is still pretty decent. It's very average, right? But they don't have any equipment either. So for 80 credits, no discount at all there. For 80 credits, you get a Psyker with 3 pretty good weird powers. However, you know, is a bit squishy. And I think, you know, flying and movement 6 is great. And, you know, you could get a willpower stat up maybe or 2 just to make this a bit more reliable. But I do think that Weapon Jinx is particularly valuable. I really, really like Weapon Jinx. And also, you know, Terrify can be quite good there too. Overall, it's a pretty decent one, but it's absolutely nowhere near as good as it used to be. It used to have a psychic power that was particularly good, almost broken, to be quite honest. It's now been dialed back quite a bit, but is also nice and cheap at 80 credits, I suppose. Are you going to take one in a starting gang most of the time? I'd like to know, actually, what you think down below in the comments. I think the Spiker has been nerfed a little bit, but I still like them, and I think the model's very cool too. Another Delaque-specific one here, and this is the Psychoteric Thrall. The Psychoteric Thrall, awesome model, by the way. Just a weird-looking dude with creepy gubbins all over him and a sort of head cage on. I don't know what you call that really. The Psychoteric Thrower is 50 credits and they're pretty cool really. Their movement 6, weapon skill, ballistic skill 5+, so the same as a prospect. Strength toughness 3, 1 wound, initiative 3, 1 attack and 6+ save. They've got a 5, 6, 7, 7 as mental stats as well. Now they get a special rule called Psychoteric Echo. So when a Delaque Weird uses Psychoteric power, they may nominate an active Psychoteric Thrower within 12 inches to act as the node. So you can channel your weird powers through this guy in exactly the same way that you would with a Psychoteric Worm. So you can use your weird powers through this guy, which means that you could run him up and then do quite a close range Delaque power like Eternal Slumber or something like that with this guy just being cheeky. He's pretty good though. For 50 credits, I mean, he's got very average skills, but he does come equipped with the dodge skill, which is pretty damn good. And also he comes equipped with either an auto gun, a las gun, or a shotgun with solid and scatter as well, and a fighting knife. So, you know, he's just an average sort of prospect style fighter that you can channel Psychoterica through. I mean, it's nice and simple. I like it. And, you know, I'm probably going to add one of these to a Delaque gang just for a little bit of fun and flavor, to be honest. Would it be better to do it on a Psychoteric Worm with burrowing instead? Probably yes, but I just think that this guy just is cool with his model and stuff. Okay, now we move on to the Outlander hangers-on. Now these guys are available just for Outlanders, of course, and the first one is the Nomad Anthromite Herder, who is 75 credits and another fantastic Nomad model to add to a plethora of amazing Nomad models. He's a movement 5 guy with weapon skill 4+ and ballistic skill 5+. He's strength and toughness 3, 1 wound, initiative 3, 1 attack and 6+ on the save as well. He's got a 6, 7, 7, 6 for his mental stats and costs you 75 credits, which is a fair amount. However, the special rules that the Anthromite Herder gets is Tend Anthromite. So select an Anthromite Dune Scuttler, Spine Worm, Unbound Hellamite, or Ashwing Hellamite. So any of the 4 pets that you get access to, or should I say 3 pets and 1 brute. Pretty good because it used to just be the brute, I think. This guy now gets to tend all of your pets too. If the selected fighter is critically injured, it goes into recovery. Otherwise, roll a d6 on a 3+. The fighter heals any lasting injuries they have got and goes into recovery. Pretty awesome. The Anthromite Herder also gets the Clamber and Mentor skills too, which is quite interesting. Comes armed with a Hunter's Polearm and a Blast Pistol. Now I know he's 75 credits, but really if you're going heavy on pets and brutes, this guy is saving the lives of those guys. So, you know, he might save your Ashwing Hellamite or your Spine Worm, or even, you know, heaven forbid, your massive Dune Scuttler as well might save the lives of these guys. So I think he is worth it if you go heavy and lean into the pet stuff. Personally, I love playing Nomads with a real heavy focus on pets and brutes as well because they're just really fun and mobile. So I think this guy has some pretty good value. And again, he's just a lovely model to add into the mix, really. And he stands out and looks quite different to the rest of your Nomad gang, particularly with the sort of weapons and stuff that he's got. He's also a bit more hefty looking too. We then have the Claim Jumper. Now this guy is only available for squats, by the way, and he's 160 credits. He was, if you remember in the last edition of the game, if you're new to it, don't worry about it, but the last edition of the game, this guy was the cheapest and best hanger-on that you could possibly get. He's now been nerfed massively, thankfully, because he was absolutely an auto-include in every single squat list, and it just became a bit boring, really. The Claim Jumper, yes, 160 credits, one of the most expensive, if not the most expensive hanger-on so far. His movement 4, weapon skill and ballistic skill 4+. He has got strength of 3, toughness of 4 because he's a dwarf. He's got wounds 1, initiative 3, attacks 1, and a 6+ save. His mental stats are 6, 7, 6, 7. Yeah, and during the post-cycle sequence, this fighter may perform the Claim Jump post-cycle action. Claim Jump, select a rival gang that your gang fought against this cycle and roll a d6. On a 5+, immediately gain the bonus of a random territory that the chosen gang controls. This does not prevent the territory-owning gang gaining the bonus. So you get to not snatch away, but you just get to use that territory's bonus, which is pretty cool because it could be a whole ton of things. But it is random, and if they've got lots of territories, I mean, most of those boons are pretty good, really. Now, again, he can only be hired by squats, and he has the Iron Jaw skill, which is pretty underwhelming generally. However, he does come with a gem extractor, an Ironhead auto pistol, a power pick, and a Techmite excavator with a drill. He did come with a power fist. He doesn't come with that anymore, thankfully. But, you know, he's tooled up. He's an okay to average fighter, and he comes with an interesting post-cycle thing. For 160 credits, though, he's absolutely not worth it anymore, I don't think, unless I'm missing something here. I just think that he needed nerfing. they've nerfed him too hard, and here we are. By the way, before we move on to the next section quickly, the Hunter's Polearm, which is unique to the Anthromite Herder, is a strength +1, -1 AP, lethality 1, heavy melee option. And the Power Pick, which is unique to this guy as well, and I think maybe Gene Stealer Cult 2, is strength as user, -2 AP, 2 lethality, and breaching 6+ melee weapon as well. Now we move on to the unaffiliated hangers-on, and there are quite a few of these actually. And the first one is the Heretic. I hate this guy. He's such an asshole. The model's a bit of a weird one. It's a love-hate one, I think. He's very, very odd. It's very Total Recall. He's like just a weird looking dude with a guy on his back. So he's got like a growth that's turned into his, like, you know, what's it called? Like a twin that's stuck to you. I'm not really sure. But anyway, he's got one of those. I'm rambling. The Heretic is movement 5, weapon skill 5+, ballistic skill 4+. He's strength toughness 3, 1 wound, initiative 3, and 1 attack with a 6+ save. He's a whopping 145 credits though, if I didn't mention that already. 5778 on his mental stats too. Now this guy is a tinker, or a knacker if you're Irish, and he can, at the start of a battle, select a weapon without either the melee or unstable trait carried by a friendly fighter, and for the duration of the battle, the selected weapon gains either Blaze 5+, Radphage or Shock 6+ trait, as well as unstable. The Heretic also comes with Munitioneer, which is quite nice. It also comes with a Grav Gun, 2 gun skulls, and a paired servo talon too. So all of the gear, some idea. It's a weird one because this guy's 145 credits, which is a lot, but you know, is his special ability worth it? No, I just think Unstable's too nasty, honestly, and I don't think Radphage, Blaze and Shock are as good, or at least not worth 145 credits anyway. They're pretty nice, but you're getting Unstable for it. However, coming with Munitioneer, coming with a Grav Gun, coming with a good close combat weapon, even though he's not actually very good in close combat, and 2 gun skulls is pretty nice. And look, it's a nice model. I think he would really suit like a Chaos Helot gang, to be honest. So yeah, I'd like to know what you think about the Heretic, because I know it divides some opinion. Overall, I don't think it's worth it necessarily, but again, he comes with some pretty good equipment that probably costs that much anyway, if you think about it like that. The Cadaver Merchant is next, and I've got to say, this is one of my favourite models ever in Necromunda, and for some reason, I don't actually own it. So if you've got a spare one and you want to chuck it my way, let me know and I'll send you my address. He's 70 credits. He is fantastic, and he's movement 4, weapon skill and ballistic skill 4, strength and toughness 3, even though he's the size of an Ogren, by the way. This guy's huge. Wounds 1, initiative 3, and attacks 1 with a 6+ save. He's got 6-7, 7-6 on his mental stats there as well, and he has Dealer in Death as his special rule. If an enemy fighter is taken out of action while at least one active or suppressed friendly Cadaver Merchant is on the battlefield, add D3 × 5 credits to the gang stash. It's nice. D3 × 5 is not a lot of credits though. He comes with Fearsome, by the way, and he's also armed with a chain axe, which is quite nice. I mean, for 70 credits, it's just not worth it, is it? Really? Is it? I don't think it is. You know, 70 credits for a very, very average fighter. Yes, it's a great model, and I think if you want to include this model in your gang, absolutely do it. But for 70 credits, I don't think that ability is really worth it, and he only comes with a chain axe. We've got the Narca next. This one's an interesting model, and again, I don't own this one. It's a hooded little lady that's sort of whispering. And she's an interesting one. She's 40 credits, movement 5, weapon skill 4+, and ballistic skill 5+, strength toughness 3, wounds 1, initiative 3, attacks 1, and 6+ save. We've got 6, 7, 5, 5 for the mental stats there as well. If a gang has a Narca, they may re-roll the dice when determining how far away from enemy models reinforcements must be placed. Yeah, so it's nice and straightforward. She comes with Lilo as well, and she's only 40 credits. It's pretty good if you're playing scenarios where there are reinforcements, which is, you know, a fair amount of the time if you're randomly generating scenarios and deployment, things like that. She comes with a fighting knife, by the way, that is it. But yeah, it's an interesting one, you know, re-rolling the dice when determining how far from enemy model reinforcements must be placed. It's nice, but it's not world-breaking, but for 40 credits, it's probably worth it, to be honest. The Gang Lookout is next. I've got this model. It's a fantastic model. I love the sort of sheathed axe on the hip there as well. Really cool looking model. It gives me the vibes of something, but I can't think what. It's just very unique looking, to be honest. But anyway, the Gang Lookout is 50 credits. He is movement 5, weapon skill 5, and ballistic skill 4+. Strength 2, because he's a little weed. toughness 3, wounds 1, initiative 4, attacks 1, and 6+ save. He's got 5, 6, 6, 6 as his mental stats there as well. And when a gang with a gang lookout is the defender in a scenario, they may cause either the deployment, objective, or crew result to be generated again. This is pretty handy really for 50 credits. I mean, if you get an ambush or something and you're being ambushed, suddenly you get to change that, you know, because the deployment can be redone. This could really suit certain gangs. So if you're a close combat gang, for example, and that deployment is at real arm's length away from your opponent, then suddenly you can redraw that, and then you're up in their face, up in their Swayze, should we say. 50 credits, though, you know, he's not going to do anything in your games other than that, but it's pretty nice, to be fair. And again, you don't have to field him to get that ability. It doesn't say that he needs to be on the battlefield to do that. So it's not bad. He comes with a las pistol or stub gun and either a knife or an axe as well. The model, I think, has a las pistol and an axe. I love the model, so I'd probably just use it based off that, to be honest. But I think it's quite good. The next one is the Outlander Beastmaster. Now, you can get all 3 of these beasties as pets for any gang, by the way. The Giant Rat, the Millisaur, and the Ripperjack. However, the Outlander Beastmaster is now a hanger-on. He used to be a brute, by the way. He's now a hanger-on. He's 85 credits, and the stats are as follows. He's got movement 6, which is nice and fast. Weapon skill, ballistic skill 4+. Strength, toughness 3, 1 wound, initiative 4, 1 attack, and a 6+ save. He's also got 6, 7. 6, 6 as the mental stats there as well. An Outlander Beastmaster increases the leash range of any pet they have by 3. So you get an extra 3-inch leash range on your Giant Rats, Millisaurs, and Ripperjacks. They come with the Mentor and Nerves of Steel skills, which are 2 pretty nice skills to have in your gang at all times, really. And also you can buy up to 0 to 3 Giant Rats for 45 credits each. Remember, Giant Rats, once they're deleted from your gang roster, you get a free one. So once you've bought one, you never have to buy another one. Remember that, they have real value. And they're rats, they're just flipping cool. 0 to 3 of those, by the way. You can have 0 to 2 Ripperjacks and 0 to 2 Millisaurs. They've finally sorted the problem that we had with the models before from Forge World, because you got 2 Millisaurs and you got 2 Ripperjacks in the Forge World box set. Now you can only have a maximum of 2, so you just need one of those box sets. You don't need to buy a second one. And those are 95 credits for the Millisaurs and 85 credits for each Ripperjack as well. Now, by the way, he comes with a shock stave and a sawn-off shotgun with solid and scatter as well. So, you know, I really like it. I love pets. You'll know I love pets. I use them all the time in every gang where possible. And I can totally see myself leaning even further into the pet aspect by using these guys in a nomad gang with the 3 pets that you already get there, and just having a ton of Millisaurs as well. Maybe a dune gang with Millisaurs being the sandworms. Good idea there. I think so. But, you know, the combined cost of the Beastmaster and, say, 2 Millisaurs is huge, but they're pretty good, really. And, you know, the fact that he has a longer leash on those as opposed to having them on your regular gangers and stuff is pretty nice too. And he's not a bad fighter, really, at movement 6, high initiative, and a shock stave. What do you think? I like him. The Scabbard is next. This one is a really fun model with his jacket open, showing off some watches and whatnot. He's 70 credits. He's movement 4, weapon skill 5+, ballistic skill 4+, strength, toughness 3, 1 wound, 2 initiative, 1 attack, and 6+ on the save there as well. He is 6, 6, 6, 7, 6, 7 on the mental stats there too. And when a gang with a Scabbard sells equipment during the post-cycle sequence, they add the item's value in credits minus 5 credits to their stash rather than half its value. So basically you get back the full money minus 5 for something. So if you're selling something that you really don't want that was very, very expensive, then great, you get the full cost, you know, minus 5 credits. So it's nice, but you know, for 70 credits, is it worth it? Probably not. However, he does come with the connected skill, which is worth having in your gang as well. You could get that on someone else at some point if you've got a gang that has savant skills, for example. He's also armed with a shotgun, by the way. You know, for 70 credits, I don't think he's particularly valuable unless you are really going to want to sell all your gear. Personally, I just stick with what I've got on the models, and that's it. I just kind of play it out for the rest of the campaign. But I don't know how other people do things and whether they replace their gear as much as others. I'm not really sure. I don't personally. I don't see too many people doing that either. The Fixer is next. This guy looks pretty cool. He looks like something out of the Matrix, carrying a big bag there. He's 100 credits, the Fixer, and he does the following. He's got movement 5, weapon skill, ballistic skill 4+, strength toughness 3, 1 wound, initiative 3, and 1 attack with a 6-up save. 6-7, 6-7 on the mental stats there as well, and old for new is his special rule. So when a gang with a Fixer sells unwanted items during the post-cycle sequence, in addition to any credits added to their stash, they gain TP equal to half the TP of the item sold, rounded up. So this one's interesting as well. So I think there's more value here really, because if you sell a heavy bolter that I think is like 4 TP maybe, then you get 2 TP added to the mix. Which means that if you sent your leader and 2 champions and that, you'd get a whopping amount of stuff that you could buy from the trading post. So it's 100 credits though. So is it really worth it? Possibly. He also comes with the connected skill as well, just like the Scabbard does too, but he's 100 credits. And he comes with a fighting knife and bolt pistol, by the way. Interesting, but not the first on my list of things to get as hangers-on. The next one is the Propagandist. Again, another really kooky model with 2 big sort of like megaphones attached to his head and a bunch of TV screens in his hand. This one's a weird one. 50 credits, movement 4, weapon skill, ballistic skill 4+, strength toughness 3, 1 wound, initiative 3, attacks 1, and 6+ save. He has got 6-7, 7-6 on the mental stats there as well. Comes with a las pistol, inspiring and iron will skills, and what he does is he inspires with his oration. Any friendly fighter within 6 inches of a propagandist may re-roll failed leadership tests. Interesting. Is it worth 50 credits though? No. You're using leadership for group activations though, so it could be quite good on maybe an enforcer gang or something like that, where you've got like, you know, the ability to just do loads and loads of them in a turn. I don't know. I need to think more about the propagandist in terms of like how he works with certain gangs and leadership. Leadership is more of a stat in this edition, so possibly it has more value that I'm thinking about immediately, but 50 credits seems a lot for him so far, I think. Again though, let me know what you think in the comments. The Agitator is next, and he is also 50 credits. He has movement 5, weapon skill and ballistic skill 4, strength toughness 3, wounds 1, initiative 3+, attacks 1, and a save or 6+ as well. 6-7, 7-6 on his mental stats too, so identical as the guy in front of him, the Propagandist. Now, he agitates the masses, so during the choose cruise step of the pre-battle sequence, if a gang has an agitator to their gang roster, they may declare they are using their agitator to spread word of their impending victory. If they win the battle, they gain an additional D3 reputation. If they lose the battle, they reduce their rep by 1. So rep isn't as much of a thing in this version of the game as it was before. However, rep now gives you money, so if you are able to win your games and get extra rep, you will get extra money. And I think money is more scarce in the game now. So actually this guy has a decent amount of value for 50 credits, I think. And there are ways that I've seen already of people really going to town on this and making it worth its weight in credits. Additionally, an agitator may perform the work territory as well. So this guy can work territory in place of a ganger, which also has quite a lot of value too, because that's an extra 15 credits. For 50 credits, this guy's not too bad. He comes with inspiring and also a las pistol or stub gun as well. I actually think the agitator is probably worth it, because I think he pays for himself in a game or two. Again, the proxy is next. 40 credits for this absolute toff. He looks ridiculous with his big Elizabethan ruff around his neck. He is a movement 5, weapon skill 5+, ballistic skill 5+. He's strength and toughness 3, wounds 1, initiative 3, and 1 attack with 6-up save. He's got 6-6, 7-7 on his mental stats, and he has friends in high places as his special rule. If a gang has a proxy after they break an alliance, they may form a new alliance. Note, the tithe price will still need to be paid from the new alliance. A proxy has the dodge skill, and they are armed with a las pistol and maul. I mean, if you're going to include alliances in your game, then this is great. If you're not including alliances, then it's utterly pointless. Personally, I think alliances do add a level of narrative fluff and fun to campaigns, but they're not necessarily for beginners. I think they do make things a bit too complicated at times. But again, I'm going to do a video on alliances separately soon because I think that needs to be discussed. They are pretty fun, and there's some great models that you can use as well. But again, this one is entirely situational and depends on whether your arbitrator is utilizing those alliances or not. If he is, though, then it's pretty good, really, because it means that you get to actually have another alliance after you've already broken the conditions of your previous alliance. So it has a lot of value there for 40 credits. But again, you're not going to be using it most of the time in most situations, I don't think. Then we have the Underhive Trader, and there are 3 models that you get in a booster pack from Forge World. They're 90 credits here, and they all do the same thing now. You used to have 3 different or 4 different versions of this guy. Now you have just different models that represent the same thing. They're movement 5, weapon skill 5+, ballistic skill 4+, strength toughness 3, wounds 1, initiative 3, 1 attack and 6+ save, with a 6/6/6/7 on the mental stats. Now, what they do is that they have the finest merchandise, so the Underhive Trader may perform the visit trading post cycle action as if they were a leader. Brilliant. You know, it's 90 credits for that, but it's brilliant because it means it frees your leader up to do other stuff like training, medical escorts, or whatever else they need to do. They also come with the connected skill as well, which is really important for trading, and they're armed with a bolt pistol and fighting knife as well, which is pretty decent. Look, it's a big outlay, 90 credits, but I think it's quite good, just to have something that takes away your leader's sort of onus on trading, because sometimes your leader isn't able to do it. They might be injured. They might want to do something else. It frees up your leader, basically. And initially, I wouldn't pay the 90 credits for it straight away, but I think during a campaign, it's quite nice to have. All 3 of these models are great, by the way, particularly the guy on the right there, which is absolutely my favorite. Very, very John Blanche and Grimdark, this one. I need to finish painting this myself, but I have the other 2 models there as well. Yeah, fantastic. Anyway, I think for now, at least in terms of all the hangers-on that are in the game for N26, that is all of them. And I don't really see many more coming into it. We're not really missing too many, I don't think, from the previous edition of Necromunda. We may get more in some journals coming out in the future, but I can't see us getting any in any of the 6 house journals. There's certainly none in the Escher or Goliath journals that I'm aware of. Yeah, there you go. That's the lowdown on every single hanger-on in N26. I'd love to know if I've missed anything or if there's something that I'm overthinking or not thinking enough about. But overall, I think they're all just a good way to use models that are just glorious models in your gangs. Some of them have real benefit. Some of them are more just about fluff and flavor, to be honest. But again, any of these guys could be outcast leaders, I think, as well. So if you really wanted to use one as that. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. Are there any that really stand out to you as like really, really janky that you could do all sorts of shenanigans with? Because there probably is some crazy mind out there that will think of some, nuts stuff that you can do with these hangers-on. Do let me know. I'd love to know what you think. Anyway, that's it for now. I'll be back with another video real soon. Thanks for watching.